He'll be talking to the members about what makes Miami Beach so special, how their creative economy is driving Greater Miami's economy, and all the contributions that the beach and the unique opportunities that Miami Beach has to offer us.
What I came up with, that there was this group of people who work in science and technology and innovation and research and development and finance and management and arts and culture and design, that not worked with their physical labor like my dad did in a factory, that we worked with our mind. The mind had become the means of production. And it was a big group, and trust me, when we looked at the numbers literally shocked us all. Today in the United States, 1/3 of the workforce, 45 million of us, are members of this creative class. It's a driving force in our economy. It's what creates wealth. It's where affluence comes from. Now, we as the Miami region are about 30%. So we lag and we look more like Las Vegas because we have a tourism and hospitality economy. Miami Beach, 5 in 10 of our workforce are members of the creative class. That puts us in a league with Lower Manhattan, Washington, D.C., a little bit behind downtown San Francisco, parts of Seattle. So in a metropolitan region that lags, Miami Beach has very much succeeded in attracting a huge share of its workforce in the creative class. What most people think is that most of those new residents to this area have relatively low skill. They work in service-based industries, they work in construction, they don't have high degrees of formal education. That is false and resoundingly false. Miami's share of foreign-born workers in the creative class, its share of immigrants that make up its highly educated population with a bachelor's degree or more, or its share of people with advanced degrees, is second in the country. Only the Silicon Valley, highly educated people that were born in a foreign country, and this is a huge asset for this region, one that's not leveraged or well understood. And I want to give you an additional challenge. That is just full-time residents. When you look at the array of people with extraordinary skill who have built businesses, financial businesses, tech businesses that spend part of their time here, those statistics go through the roof. So one of the challenges I think we have is how do we leverage part-time residents? How do we attract, recruit, and retain them and draw them into our enterprise? We now attract in the region $850 million a year. In the top 20 of all startup hubs in the world, we are a startup hub in this region equivalent to Denver or Washington, D.C., Toronto, Hong Kong, or Amsterdam. That is huge news. Places like Santa Monica and what is called the Silicon Beach of Los Angeles, places that are more walkable, that are denser, where you don't have to live and work in a suburban office park. And that urban edge, if you will, that densifying edge is the thing my great mentor, Jane Jacobs, the greatest urbanist of all time. You know, she once said to me, Richard, you know, new ideas require old buildings. We've got to make a push on transit, folks. Now, look, the Bright Line is a big deal, and we should commend ourselves on the Bright Line. Think about what has happened to Miami and Miami Beach over the past 2 decades, and 3 to 5 years. We have witnessed an influx of talent, of investment, a return to the city that no one, including myself, could have ever predicted, and we now have the research that began precisely in the year 2000. In the year 2000 is when the back to the city movement of the creative class begins in earnest, and it just accelerates. John F. Kennedy famously said, what's good for General Motors is good for America. In today's economy, it's the community, the city, the place itself that is the organizing unit of the knowledge economy.